Trout and salmon are an important part of the ecosystem in the U.S. and across the globe. These fish are an important food source for lots of wildlife and for humans as well.
Additionally, several U.S. states, especially Colorado, rely heavily on income generated each year from giving out fishing licenses, as well as the money from the tourism fishing brings. Fishing generates hundreds of millions of dollars annually for these states.
What would happen if trout and salmon went extinct?
Several fish populations in the U.S. have dropped dramatically as a result of rapidly spreading a deadly parasite known as Whirling Disease. Some streams in the western U.S. have lost over 90% of their trout, which is a result of this disease, which originated from Europe and is not native to the U.S.
Myxobilus cerebralis, called Whirling Disease, is a parasite which affects certain species of trout and salmon. The waterborne parasite may not directly kill trout, but severely infected young trout often develop debilitating deformities of the skull and spinal column, or display the erratic tail-chasing behavior from which the disease gets its name.
The Whirling Disease parasite has a two-host life cycle that involves trout and an alternate host, a common bottom-dwelling tubifax worm. When an infected trout dies, large numbers of hard spores are released. These hard spores are hard, resistant to freezing in drought conditions, and can remain viable for months.
After the release from the host fish, the tubifax worm can ingest the spores. When released from the worm, in the same way as the trout, these waterborne spores, known as triacintone moxions, can infect susceptible fish by attaching to their host body.
The hard spores then are formed in the cartilage of the infected fish, completing the life cycle. The parasite is more lethal to young fish due to the density of their bones. The softer the bones are, the easier it is for the parasite to infect and kill the fish.
It makes
Once Whirling Disease is established in an environment, it's virtually impossible to remove. Currently, there is no effective cure for Whirling Disease in fish.
So what can you do to prevent Whirling Disease from spreading?
Thoroughly wash off any mud from vehicles, boats, trailers, anchors, axles, waders, boots, fishing equipment, and anything that can hold the spores or mud-dwelling tubifax worms.
Drain boats, equipment, coolers, live bait as well, and any water holders.
Don't transport any fish from one body of water to another, which can help spreading Whirling Disease. It's unlawful in Colorado to move stock and live fish without a special license.
Don't dispose of any fish entrails or other byproducts into any body of water.
Never transport aquatic plants. Make sure boats, engine, props, anchors, trailers, and wheels are cleared of weeds after every use.
By preventing the spread of Whirling Disease in the United States and worldwide, we can help prevent the extinction of several species of trout and salmon that are affected by this parasite.